We are finally back to Shanzhou, and we are greeted with waves of new characters, starting with Yunli. Those who are unsure about Yunli, welcome to another 10 reasons to pull for a character. This is KKaceh, and in this video, I'm going to provide a few reasons on why Yunli might be a good character for you. And if any of these reasons clicks with you, that might be a sign for you to pull for Yunli. As usual, before we start, a quick disclaimer, this is not a guide video. Many other YouTubers has and will make a more comprehensive guide for the character, so check them out. This is more like a quick summary on why this character is good for the game and possibly for the players. But before we jump to the 10 reasons, let's have a quick overview what she is capable of. Feel free to pause to have a good look at the full description of each of her kit. First, basic attack. It is just a basic attack skill with her attack stats, nothing too exciting. Next is her skill. She heals herself, skill with attack stats. Then she does damage to the target and enemies adjacent to it. Pretty good. Next is her ultimate. She enters parry state and then she taunts all the enemies. If she gets hits, she activates big counter. Otherwise, she activates small counter. Her talent, she regenerates energy every time she gets hit, and then she counters the enemy that attack her and also dealing blast damage to the adjacent of the enemy that she countered. And then her technique, when enter battles, either by attacking or being attacked, she activates her big counter with increased damage. Pretty good to start off a fight. And then her trace, number 1, after failing to trigger big counter once from the ultimate, the next counter will be guaranteed to be the big counter. Her trace 2, during her parry state, she gets a crowd control resistance and decreased damage taken. Pretty good, so she doesn't get interrupted, and also she lasts for a long time in the battlefield. In trace 3, when using any counter, her attack increases. So that's the quick overview. Now let's dive in and see what makes her good. First reason, those who like giant sword, now you finally have a character wielding them. Oh, and also feet. Anyway, just aside, for many degenerates out there, don't even think about it. She should still be around Yanqing's age, and he's not of age yet by Shanzhou standard. So don't get your imagination goes too crazy and pray that she will get to put on some shoes alongside Clara one day. I know that Clara already got some shoes but chose not to wear them at this point. Maybe during the Fate collab with Ilya's skin, we can finally see Clara with shoes. Finger crossed, guys. Okay, first reason is always just something silly. Now, into the main reason. The second reason will be the fun mechanic of parry. Much like Clara in March 7th, she revolves around counter mechanic. But for Yunli's case, on top of having normal counter, she has a much more specific types of counter called parry. Those who has played many action games, especially those who has played Sekiro, you guys will know how satisfying pulling a parry is. And those who are not familiar with the term, it is usually involving blocking the enemy attack just a few frames before the attack hits you. And this idea has been translated into turn-based game. So for whoever brought these mechanics to be translated into a turn-based system, truly deserves a raise from MiHoYo. For Yunli, parry is achieved through her ultimate, and you should time the ultimate just before the enemy turns, so that you can guarantee her big counter. So it is more involved than just waiting for her to get hit. Also, what's better is that she's able to stack her energy into 2 levels, so you can wait for the right time to parry without worrying about you wasting your ultimate energy being filled after being attacked, since she has extra reserves. The third reason, enabling full counter team. With addition of Yunli, now it is possible to use a full counter team that involves Clara, Yunli, March 7th, and Aventurin. Now, every time someone gets hit, at least 2 characters will activate their follow-up attack, and it is possible for all 4 characters to actually perform counter here. This particular team might not be the most optimal team, but they're very fun to play, and I would especially love to bring these teams a lot in Simulated Universe / Divergent Universe. If you want to know my opinions about whether Yunli is just a better Clara, do let me know in the comment section, as that requires a dedicated video, because it is much more than just one character being better than the other. We need to break down a lot of stuff. The fourth reason. She can also work as your solo sustain depending on the challenge, thanks to her self-healing and taunt. By putting her at a corner and putting your second tankiest character, like a support that doesn't scale with attack like Ruan Mei, Sparkle, or Bronya, next to her, you can minimize the damage thanks to the taunt. The character next to her can absorb a decent amount of damage if the enemy is a blast or full AoE type, while Yunli can always heal herself with her skill. Mind you, won't be great for a long-term battle, especially against boss that always does AoE, as the other character will eventually fall. So the goal of this team will pretty much kill the enemies fast before they kill us. So it is very offense-oriented team. If you're one of those type that enjoys full offense team, maybe you should consider pulling for Yunli. And then the fifth reason, still within the topic of team, she has so many teams that work well with her. Just like I mentioned, we can have her as the sole sustain while you bring a hyper carry team. You can make her as your main carry while you bring the other sustain, debuffer, and support. Other example, you can bring her with other follow-up attacker like the IPC team. She might not be a better replacement for Robin or Ruan Mei, but in challenges that has a follow-up attack gimmicks, she will be great in that team. So those with other big pool of characters, especially veteran players, you can stick up Yunli with many of your character and try to find your favorite team for her. So in essence, she's very versatile when it comes to team building. And then the sixth reason, despite she is a counter-based character, she's able to deal enormous damage thanks to her multi-hitting ultimate. Both Clara and Yunli are able to deal blast damage with their ultimate, but unlike Clara, that only deals a single instance of attack on the enemy, Yunli, with her strong ultimate, will deal multiple hit on enemy, much like how Argenti ultimate at the second level will dish out a multiple hits to increase his single target damage. Same thing applies to Yunli. With this, her single target damage output is not too bad either. The seventh reason, long-term value as more counter-oriented character is released. Right now, there's no specialized counter support, only follow-up attack support in form of Topaz or Robin or Jade. In the future, should they release a unit that supports another character that likes losing HP or like being hit like Blade, Arlad, Clara, and Yunli, Yunli's value will only rise, and perhaps by then a new type of DPS team will truly born, a true counter team. One way to do this perhaps having a character that works like Farina in Genshin. Every time an ally lose or gain HP, their damage will increase. Hopefully that will fix the abundance problem that I talked about in one of my discussion video. By the way, do check them out, as I really want to know your opinions regarding this topic. The eighth reason, she works in all challenges. Just like Clara, she will work for all game content, especially Pure Fictions, Simulated Universe, and Apocalyptic Shadow. For Pure Fiction, this mode really favors follow-up attacker and AoE DPS, so she will always save place there. For Simulated / Divergent Universe, we know that Clara is able to do some crazy stuff, even solo, so Yunli should be able to do the same. Even we have a duo Clara Yunli, that would be crazy. I'm really looking forward to test that myself in Simulated Universe. For Apocalyptic Shadow, action value of counter is rather small, and the enemies in that mode loves attacking multiple times, so Yunli will work just fine there as well. For Memory of Chaos though, unless the gimmick specifically favored the counter mechanic, she probably won't be the best option there, because for MOC, it is more about us attacking the enemies rather than us big attack. So Yunli, much Clara, most of the time will be too slow for Memory of Chaos. But who knows, I'm pretty sure someone out there will be able to do a zero cycle with Yunli anyway. And the ninth reason, she has a lot of relic option. Right now, thanks to her being a follow-up attacker and also a physical damage type, there are at least 3 to 4 set relics you can put to her. The boxing relic is pretty good, which is also best in slot for Clara at the moment. The Duke set, which you should have plenty of from your Echoes of War session, and also from the exploration, it is still pretty good. And lastly, if you have been farming for Firefly relics, the other set of that Calyx, the Soaring Wind, should be her best in slot, as you will need the crit rate stats, and also her follow-up attacks is easily triggered just by getting hit. And also, if you guys notice, this relic doesn't have a stack limit, so if multiple enemies hit her before her turn ends, she can have a lot of ultimate damage buff stacks, and that should deal a devastating amount of counter damage from her ultimate. Oh, also, still within the relic topic, she doesn't need to be fast because her main source of damage will be counter, and that relies on enemy speed instead of our own speed. Therefore, you can just prioritize getting a lot of damage, and also you don't need to worry about getting amazing crit damage pieces because she gets ultimate damage buff from her passive. But a lot more crit damage from substuds is always welcome. For the last reason, the light cone. Light cone options is flexible as well. For F2P, Yunli has some decent 4-star options since she benefits a lot from just having more stats increase and more damage passive. For example, with Wolf walk time is decent, with attack boost it's just always welcome for her to deal more damage, but the passive might be a bit difficult to utilize unless you break the enemy with her, or you bring supports that can inflict burn consistently like Asta or the incoming Jiao Chu. Well, there's a reason for you to pull both Jiao Chu and Yunli now. A Secret Vow is decent since most of the time Yunli will always be attacked, therefore not in full HP. So enemy at full HP, especially in P-Friction, will be obliterated by Yunli with Secret Vow Light Cone. The rest of 4-star options were okay with her as well. The free 5-star that we got from her shop is pretty good for her as well, as all of her kit involves attacking. For long-time players that occasionally pulls for 5-star Light Cone, the other 5-star Destruction Light Cone will do great on Yunli as well. So when it comes to Light Cone, the option is very flexible and it is really up to your inventory state. If there's any spare or 4-star Light Cone, slap it on her, she will do just fine. Well, those are 10 reasons to pull for Yunli, specifically the benefits of having her in your roster. If any of the reasons seems appealing to you, I do suggest try pulling for Yunli if you have the resource for it. However, just like one of my viewers commented in my first 10 reasons to pull video, the one and only main reason to not pull for a character will be not having enough jades. So play the game, do a lot of the quests and challenges, or maybe even achievement hunting, and eliminate that one reason for not pulling for her. And then you will have all of the reasons I mentioned above to pull for Yunli. And most importantly, have fun with team building and Honkai Star Rail, because we have a lot of characters now. But bear in mind, I do not encourage people to spend money, so only spend if you have enough to spare. That's all I want to say. I hope whatever I said helps you in making a decision to pull or not to pull for her, and may the light be with you. Thanks for watching, this is KKaceh. Until the next video, stay sharp gamers.
Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe!